Hello, my name is METİN. This is 183rd part of explanation of my theory. Yes. According to my theory and my formulas, electrons wavelength dependent, Boltzmann constant and ideal gas constant. 1. What determines the Boltzmann constant and the ideal gas constant? The Boltzmann constant is nothing but 137 10 to the minus joules value point energy of 91.155 nanometer wavelength size kind electron motion form at 1 Kelvin temperature. How? Before explaining this, according to my theory and my formulas, I'm going to explain my formulas about this subject. Here, at 1 Kelvin means electron motion form is at rest and its energy is its initial imbalance point energy when it is at rest and it is not interacting with other electron motion forms. If these are single hydrogen atoms in the same conditions, here at 1 Kelvin. Don't forget this. And here 137 or sometimes 138 approximately 10 to the minus 19 joules value energy is linear velocity direction component point energy value of 91.155 nanometer wavelength size kind electron motion form. This is determinative constant. Linear velocity direction component energy is constant for 91.155 nanometer wavelength size electron motion form here. Snapshot, please. Here it is an electron motion form that has 91.155 nanometer wavelength size. This is a point on its spherical ring-shaped surface. Here, red arrow speed of light direction component mass and energy point, and here 1,884,000 km per second linear velocity direction component energy and mass. This is a point. Maybe this one, maybe this one. A point. Okay. Perpendicular one, speed of light direction. And linear velocity one, linear velocity direction. Here, upside my some of my formulas. Okay. And here, how I computed according to my theory and my formulas. This is linear velocity component energy. Planck's constant multiplied by 1,884,000 km per second square divided by 91.155 wavelength size multiplied by 1,884,000 km per second. Okay, and in green place it represents mass formula. Without wavelength you cannot measure the mass anything. You need a wavelength for the mass. Wavelength and electron motion form are determinative for mass and energy. Okay? Then we find what? We find 137 10 to the minus 19 joule. This is constant energy of 91.155 nanometer wavelength size electron motion form. Under this, speed of light direction component energy that I account 21.8 10 to the minus 19 joule, and here in red area mass formula represent mass. C direction mass is 2.423 10 to the minus 35 kilogram. Linear velocity mass, point mass is 3.858 10 to the minus 36 kilogram. But this is important now. 137 10 to the minus 19 joule. Maybe sometimes 138. Maybe sometimes 136.9. Okay, approximately. Because of wavelength size. Roughly wavelength 91.155. I said. Yes. By the way, what is Planck's constant in fact? If you remember from my former videos, here, this is, by the way, my explanation of Planck's constant. This angular momentum of electron motion form is Planck's constant. Here, this is formula. I advise you to notice that. Here, angular momentum of electron motion form is Planck's constant, mass, linear velocity, and radius. Here, c direction mass, speed of light 91.155 is equal to linear velocity mass, linear velocity multiplied by 91.155 is equal to what? 6.62 10 to the minus 34 joule. Okay. Now, 3. What does ideal gas constant have to do with point energy of an electron motion form? What does ideal gas constant 8.3144 joules per Kelvin mole have to do with 138, say 137 or 138. 138 10 to the minus 19 joules value of linear velocity component energy of electron motion form. As I told you before, 91.155 nanometer wavelength size kind free electron motion form can connect with a single proton to make joint motion without being force changing its wavelength to make a single hydrogen atom. For both 91.155 nanometer wavelength free electron motion form and 91.155 nanometer wavelength proton bound electron motion form in a single hydrogen atom, linear velocity direction component point energy is 137.10 to the minus 19 joules or 138 10 to the minus 19 joules. We can say this value is approximately 138 10 to the minus 19 joules. Okay? If you bring 6 point if you bring, okay, 6.022 10 to the 17 at rest single hydrogen atoms side by side without touching each other, that means, again, if you bring 6.022 10 to the 17 at rest single hydrogen atoms side by side without touching each other, what does it mean? That means they are completely at rest, each one. At 1 Kelvin, approximately absolute zero temperature. They are at their ideal gas situation. If you bring them together, side by side, without touching each other, and if you make a surface touch at them, at their only single points, each point, you get ideal gas constant. Yes, each one has each one's point energy is 138 10 to the minus 19 joule. Okay, then completely 6.022 10 to the 17 multiplied by each one's point energy 138 10 to the minus 19 joule. What we gain, like this, we get 8.31 joules per Kelvin mole. This is ideal gas constant. Okay, we get this. Totally, we get this now. Yes. Remember, 6.022 10 to the 17 is Avogadro number for hydrogen atom or for 91.155 nanometer wavelength size kind electron motion form that I put forth. Here, Avogadro number is not 6.022 10 to the 23. No. For hydrogen atom or 91.155 electron motion form, Avogadro number per mole is 6.02210 to the 17. Okay? Now, if you divide Boltzmann constant derived from that, if you divide 8.3144 joules per Kelvin mole to 6.02210 to the 17 per mole, again, result will be Boltzmann constant 100 here 138 10 to the minus 19 joules per Kelvin. This is Boltzmann constant for single hydrogen atom, or 91.155 nanometer wavelength size electron motion form. Now, Boltzmann constant is not equal to 1.38 10 to the minus 23 joules per Kelvin. For hydrogen, this is not true because of 10 to the minus 23. No, here, this is same main figure, but power different, 10 to the minus 19 joules per Kelvin. I will explain you in detail next. Remember from my former videos, I have put forth electrogravitation, electromagnetic gravitation, EGM, constant, if you remember. Forces of nature are not independent of each other. There are no different fundamental forces according to my theory and my formulas. Each one represents same things, different in different way. Yes. I will go on through the electromagnetic gravitation constant that I put forth to explain. Then I will explain another subjects according to my theory and my formulas. Have a good evening. See you later.